Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about the blade edge and what's the secret behind them, and why do I need straps, and why I need a couple of stones, why I need all that. Okay, now look at these two types of blade. One is a serrated blade, it's called. It's good at cutting stuff like rope, and this is good at slicing paper very cleanly, or cutting meat or whatever. And then I want to ask you guys, what's the difference between these type of blade? Okay, one is very smooth and one is very rough. In this video, I want to say these two still, these two edge is about same. Okay, why is that? Because if you look this edge with the microscope, it looks just like this. Okay, it's very toothy. Okay, even though it's very smooth looking and shiny, if you see in a microscope, there's a tooth. Okay, there are a lot of teeth on the edge, but it's very, very small. Okay, so what I want to say is that even the sharpest knife or anything sharpest object, to our eyes it looks just plain, very smooth. But if you see in a microscope range, it's very, very toothy. Okay, it looks like this. Like if you see in 100 times and 100 times magnifier, and it looks like this. If you see in maybe like 300 or 400 magnified glass, and it looks like, if it looks like this, if you see very, very close. So these you can I'm just guessing the numbers. Okay, from this edge, from 100 times, 200 times, 400 times, this edge looks like this from the microscopic view. So this is why you need a flat sharpening stones, and you need to have several grades of stones. I will explain you why. Let's say this blade is very nicked. It's very there are nicks in the blade, so you need to sharpen this flat. Okay, then you need a grade from 100 or 200 grit sharpening stone to knock off much material. Okay, so you have a smaller teeth. Okay, sharpening is just making your knife, your edge, smaller teeth. Okay, the smaller the teeth, the sharper the knife will be. Okay, remember that. And then this was your first edge. Your next edge will be okay, and the next edge looks like this. And then next edge, with 200 grit sharpening paper or 400 sharpening paper, I'm just in a magnifying view. Okay, and then you have okay, and then as the smaller it gets, it gets finer and finer, and then it gives you very microscope. Okay, from here, and here, and here, and then finally you get very fine edge. Okay, and this at this point in between these, there are things like called burrs. Okay, that you may have heard of a lot of burrs from YouTube videos. They're like really microscope edge, like toothy edge from the sharpening process, and then you need to remove these burrs so that you can have very fine microscopic edge on your knife. Okay, so when you're sharpening, try to think of as you are making a very rough teeth to a microscopic teeth. Okay, so why you need several teeth, because you can't really make this edge with like, let's say sorry, I will say again. Okay, this is very a rough grit sharpening stone, and this is medium, and this is fine, and this is maybe done by straw. Okay, this is coarse. Okay, from the coarse stone to the medium and the fine, the teeth get smaller and smaller, because when you see a sharpening stone, you can't really see, but if you see with a microscope, they have very rough surface, but fine stone has very tiny rough surface, so that it can gives you the finer teeth on them. So that's why you need start from the coarse, medium, and fine, because with the coarse stones you can't have this kind of microscope, this kind of small microscope that only gives you this big teeth only. So you start from the coarse, medium, fine, and then finish with the straw, which will just give you very small teeth. Okay, and then after use of the knives, here's what happens. Okay, I will just draw from this angle. Okay, when knife is stationed like this, there is an edge. Okay, see guys what I mean? From this cutting view, I will just say cut this blade like this, and you can see like that. Okay, you're looking at the edge just like this. Okay, there's a microscopic teeth, I said, here. Okay, and then if you constantly using the knife, there could be some removal of the metal, but what happens is these teeth bends. Okay, I'll just make it big so that you guys can see in my camera. Okay, teeth bends from sideways. Okay, so in many cooking shows, chefs sharpens with a steel rod. You see in cooking videos, they sharpen it with I don't have one, but usually they do it like this, right? They sharpen it with the sharpening rod like that. That is not actually sharpening. That is they just folding back these folded microscopic teeth to the original shape for temporarily, because it will just bend back again. Okay, so in the kitchen you need to have very quick process. It's time consuming to sharpen knives, so they just quickly temporarily shapes back to the original shape, so that you have instant cutting edge. But it will do it out quickly, because they will bend it backward, outward again. So this makes very thick, in a microscopic view, a thick area to cut something. So this is too thick, so you can't really get the knife still wood. So if you have smaller microscopic teeth, you will have a smaller bends, so that even though it's bended, it's still very thin edge. So you can even though it's a very small, though it's dull, you can still cut things. So that's why if you finish up to the very fine grit sides, you can have much longer edge retention if the steel and the heat treatment is properly done. Okay, so you need to remove these bended microscopic teeth with sharpening stone. Now at this point, you don't need to go to the coarse, okay? You just need to go to the medium or fine, which means medium is about 100 to 2000, and fine means I think above 4000. Okay, you sharpen it with medium and then finish the fine, or you just start with the fine and finish the strop. Because even though your knife gets dull, if you start with the coarse, you're removing too much material on this. Okay, so your blade will be short a lot quickly. Okay, so you need to save your precious knives. Knives is for using, but you need to get much longer usage. So you don't need to start with the coarse grit. You just need touch up with the medium and then finish with the fine, or you can just start with the fine also. And then a lot of people ask, until what grit should I finish my knives? There are many opinions, and I don't want to fight those guys. If you want to use it that way, you can. It's free, but I will tell you in my opinion. Okay, I think if you are just a hobbyist or just regular guys, I will just recommend you have maybe 300 grit waterstone, and then you have 1000 grit, and then you have 6000 grit. Okay, I will recommend these for the hobbyist or regular guys. Okay, 300, 1000, and 6000. This being coarse, and this being medium, and this being fine. And this is just enough for your job, or even if you don't want to buy two stones or double sized stones, I'll recommend you buy just except for 301, you can just buy these two is even just enough for your job. If you are just kitchen worker, or you're just you're a housewife, you can just buy these two sets. But if you are a serious knife user, and if you are a professional and you want to just get the professional equipment on your precious knife, I will say you get 220 grits, and then you have 600 grits, and you have 1000 grits, and you have 2000 grits, and you have 6000, and you have 8000, and you can finish off with 12K, and then we finish with a strop. Okay, you're really not going to use this part, but I'm just recommending you this because you might have a nick in the blade, like this was the plain edge, and you were cutting bones and stuff, and if your knife have a nicks in them, you need to correct these, right? So you need to start with the 220 grits, and then you go to 600 grits, and then you start sharpening with 100 grits, 1000 grits. This process isn't really actually sharpening, I say. It's more like correcting the angles and correcting the edge stuff, because it takes much metal off, and it gives you very toothy edge. So I'll say sharpening starts from the 1000s. Okay, and 1000, you need to remove scratches was done from 600 grits. Okay, and you need to remove all the scratches was done from 1000 grits, and you need to remove all the scratches was done from 2000 grits, and keep on. Okay, you can finish until 12K, and you have very mirror polish on your stone, and then you can, you know, finish with the leather strop without a compound. If you have a compound, you can use, but you need to have more grit above than 12K. I haven't really seen many compounds that have a grits on them. They only just tell you they are fine or extra fine or medium or stuff like that. So I think if you want to strop after 12K, you just need a horse butt strop or just leather strop without any other compound. You can just strop gently. You know, you can remove micro burr on the edge, but you don't really need necessary if you have a 12K. But if you don't have 12K, stones are pretty expensive, so I'll give you two options. If you don't want to buy 12K, you can finish until with 8,000, and then you can use strop with a compound. I recommend you. Strop is another big story, but I just recommend the product called Autosol. This is widely available in Europe and I believe in North America also. Autosol was used by many knife makers and many users, woodworkers especially. They use Autosol to polish their blade on a leather strop. I think Autosol gives you good results. And then so finish strop with the Autosol, and then you'll have very good edge. But be careful that you need a specific compound for specific steel for each knife. So one thing does not do all the things. Okay, you need this compound for this steel and this compound for this steel, all kinds of things, because compound is also a abrasive that it affects other material, the specific materials. I will talk about all things in another video. Okay, this is for my recommendations. This is, if those of you guys who think this is too much, I'll recommend you intermediate ones. I should say 1,000 and 6,000 and maybe 9,000 if you want to get, or you could get 1,000, 20,000 and 6,000 sets. It's just enough for you, for the intermediate persons. Either you get set 1 or set 2. For the brands, I haven't used any of diamond stones yet, but I recommend diamond stones because they have very flat side. They don't really need to correct the flatness, but they have a lifetime. If you used improperly, the diamonds will get off of the steel plate, or aluminum plate, and then you'll have no abrasive on them. Honestly, I've never used that. But I heard they're really good. But what I use is a ceramic stones from Naniwa and Sharpen. If you ever go to Japan, I recommend you to get those stones because they're really nice. If you are in the area where you can get ceramic stones, I recommend you diamond stones because from these days, super steels like this pocket knife from Buck, it's custom made. This is S30V steel, okay, which means it's very hard to sharpen, okay, but it's hard to sharpen but stays long edge. I'll just say a simple way. So you need to have a diamond stone or ceramic stones to sharpen these steels, okay. Wart stones, if you sharpen S30V with a Japanese wart stone, some people might have a good result in them, but if you just sharpen it with a ordinary, you know, Japanese waterstone, this will eat up the waterstone, because this still is very hard. Okay, it will just dig up the waterstone, so you will have, you know, you won't have flat surface on the sharpening stone, and that's a problem for sharpening. Okay, that's about it. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to put thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in next video. Bye bye.